If God gave your purpose, why would it need to be found? The modern world speaks about purpose as if it were a hidden treasure buried somewhere beneath the surface of life. Books promise to help discover it. Speakers promise to help unlock it. Entire industries have been built around helping people find their purpose. The assumption behind all of it is the same. Purpose is something missing, something personal, something that must be discovered before life can truly begin. But that assumption collapses the moment one simple statement is taken seriously. My only function is the one God gave me. Those words do not come from a motivational speaker or a self-help seminar. They come from A Course in Miracles, Lesson 65. And if that sentence is true, then the entire modern conversation about purpose has been happening on the wrong foundation. Because if God gave your function, it cannot be hidden. God does not play riddles with his creation. God does not assign a purpose and then scatter clues across a lifetime, hoping someone eventually solves the puzzle. If a function came from God, it must carry the nature of its source. And God is not fragmented. God is one. That means the function cannot be personal. It cannot be one purpose for one individual and another purpose for someone else. The moment purpose becomes individualized, it stops reflecting the nature of God and begins reflecting the nature of separation. This explains why the world never agrees on what purpose actually is. Pastors speak about destiny and divine assignments. Psychologists speak about meaning and contribution. Self-help authors speak about passions and personal missions. Pop culture speaks about fulfillment and identity. Each voice offers a different map, a different formula, a different blueprint for what life is supposed to become. Yet the disagreement itself reveals the problem. If purpose were truly personal, there would be 8 billion different answers. And that is exactly what the world produces. 8 billion different pursuits, each one claiming to be the reason a life exists. But the instability of those answers exposes their foundation. They are built on sand. Look closely at what the culture calls purpose, career, legacy, passion, impact, mission, destiny. Every one of these depends on circumstances that change. Careers shift, passions fade, identities evolve, legacies disappear with time. Anything that can dissolve with changing conditions cannot be the purpose God gave. A wave does not decide whether it is wet. Its nature determines that. Likewise, a function given by God cannot be something the individual mind invents, negotiates, or discovers through trial and error. It must already be inherent. It must already be shared. Lesson 65 goes even further and exposes the heart of the confusion. Salvation cannot be the only purpose you hold while you still cherish others. That single sentence dismantles the entire purpose industry, because everything the culture calls purpose belongs to what the lesson calls other purposes. Building a career, leaving a legacy, achieving success, changing the world, even helping others. None of these are condemned as evil. They are simply recognized for what they are: temporary roles inside a temporary dream. The lesson even anticipates that these goals will still be pursued. It calls them trivial purposes and goals you will pursue. Not because they are immoral, but because they are temporary. They belong to a world where everything eventually dissolves. Imagine writing ambitions across the shoreline of a beach. Success, destiny, calling, passion, mission. For a moment, those words appear permanent. Then the tide arrives. The water touches the first letters. The edges blur. The words dissolve. Nothing dramatic happens. The ocean simply returns the sand to what it always was. This is what time does to every purpose the world offers. Everything written in sand eventually returns to sand. But something built on rock does not move with the tide. That is the difference between worldly purpose and divine function. One is written by the mind that believes it is separate. The other is shared by the mind that remembers it is not. The lesson describes the practice of setting aside time for God as long-range disciplinary training. Why would the mind need training? Because it has become accustomed to chasing illusions of purpose instead of recognizing truth. The goal of the training is simple. It prepares the mind so the Holy Spirit can use it consistently for the purpose He shares with you. Shared purpose is the key. Shared means the same, not customized, not individualized, not designed differently for each person. If the purpose comes from God, it must be universal. Later in the text, the Course reveals that shared function clearly. It is forgiveness. Not forgiveness as moral behavior or social virtue. Forgiveness as the recognition that the separation the world is built upon never actually occurred. This is why the purpose is the same for everyone. The correction needed in the mind is the same everywhere. Every mind that believes in separation is experiencing the same illusion. And every mind therefore shares the same function in awakening from it. Seen in that light, the search for purpose begins to look very different. The question was never, what am I meant to become? The real question was always, what illusion am I willing to release? The world trains people to chase purpose outward. Lesson 65 invites the mind to recognize that purpose was never outside to begin with. It was simply buried beneath layers of imagined alternatives. The lesson even describes the final step plainly. It asks for willingness to have illusions of purpose replaced by truth. Not improved, not refined, replaced. When that replacement occurs, the restless search ends. Not because life loses meaning, but because meaning was never dependent on the roles within it. The tide may continue to erase the ambitions written across the shoreline of time. Careers will change. Identities will shift. Dreams will come and go. But the stone beneath the water does not move. And the function God gave has never depended on the tide.